touched on many issues there, which include that you have a level playing ground for both, sides, and also with clear demands. That demands must be clear. But in this case, let's bring in Dr. Onoja now, who is a security expert. In this case, where we have faceless people that are, they have not been able to come out and say, put a face to this protest. So how do we manage such situation? What are the most dependable techniques that can be used by government? And we know that government has been coming out, speaking to community leaders, traditional leaders, and some groups and all that, and trying to also address some of the demands of these protesters. So what techniques do you think is best available that can be used by government in this instance?
All right, thank you so much. I think first let me commend the DG conflict resolution and my dear colleague in the studio. I think they have done justice to the discussion of today, but notwithstanding, I think Nigerians need more of enlightenment to dash the tension. ADR has been the topic of discussion here as a credible alternative to solve the problems. Unfortunately, the concept of the ADR that Nigerians truly understand is demand at the table and then request granted immediately. That's why we could not have it, even from the NSAS protests, the Leah Sharibu, and even that of the before now, the fuel scarcity and all of these things. We've had successive protest over the years. You and I know very well, Labour comes out on a daily to protest. Yeah. Have you in any way see when they say Labour don't protest? The reason is that it's because of the leadership. So coming back to your questions, how do you negotiate with people that are faceless? They're different from bandits. You understand this concept. So we can blame the government for not engaging them. Just a few weeks, the Minister of FCT, His Excellency Wiki, engaged the FCT youths asked to see a way forward. And I think one of the demands put on table is the case of the youth center for FCT and all of that. And that he went back to them. It's a feedback mechanism. Look, your demand has been granted by Mr. President. Okay. And so this time we'll be creating this, we've been doing this. I think that is the alternative way as engaging the people, the grassroots. So the alternative government can use in this instance is to say, wait a minute, who are those people? On my way coming to the studio, I find it very difficult because already they've created fear. And the security agency is on a watch out, and that makes them to double their effort in terms of stop and search. Of course, that's going to create a whole lot of hold-ups today in the Federal Capital Territory. And so what that means is that they're going to stop people. They're going to ask people questions. Identify yourself. Okay. And so it is advisable Nigerians going out, coming out today, outside your ID card, because they can even create ID cards for them. You have to identify yourself, I'm a Nigerian, through the use of the national identity card and other means, voter's card and a lot of things. So to me, government cannot use any other alternative to negotiate or to mediate with people that are unknown. Until they are known, we have so many civil society organizations that have come over the years that we need this, we need that. Okay. And I think government was able to engage them because it's a registered body. They got to know them.
I'm sorry to interject here.
All right.
If you keep saying that they are unknown, for instance, Mr. Osito Kechukwu sat where you sat yesterday, and he reeled out names of people who have identified with these protests that are known, and some people actually wrote to the FCT administration to say we want to make use of the Eagle Square.
No. The letter you read, you and I know it's so ridiculous. You wrote a letter, just put a phone number. I mean, we need to ask ourselves questions, and that means we need to go through our institutions. For example, we can go through some of them that say they have names, but are they registered? Somebody can sit in this parlor and then write a letter, put a name, put a phone number, decide to form a name like a local meeting and say this is our name. And so we need to go through CSC. Are they registered? Are they incorporated? Okay. So these questions need to be asked because you say they have names. I saw one just yesterday night, and they say take it back, whatever it calls themselves, and that they say they have withdrawn from this protest. So the truth is that so many, if you know the gimmicks, so many individuals, just like the games of politics, once the time comes, the form names, have society, oh, this is the association of disabled individuals. This is the association of the one that have one legs and two and have one hands. This is just to share the sharing, but just about expanding the sharing formulas.
In other words, the security agencies also do not know the people behind the protest.
They have not come out clearly
to
identify themselves. To identify. So look, if they have done that, Doctor made a very valuable point here, and we should look at it from that perspective. If they have come out to identify themselves, oh, gentlemen, we have seen what you wanted. This is the available space. We can accord you this respect by being with you, but please don't burn quotas, don't break down any facilities. So if they have been known to government, we won't be sitting here and be talking while government not engaging. And the mere fact that they made this pronouncement that there's a protest, you and I, we agree that to an extent they have achieved their aim. Within this shortest period, you agree with me that government have been turning out, programs. You understand it, just to douse the tension. What else do you expect? 70,000 naira minimum wage was just passed into law by Mr. President.
Yeah.
You understand it? The Senate came up with an emergency meeting. All of this is, and again, just like he made mention in the case of selling crude oil to Dangote refineries, with just in naira. These are achievable measures. We can say, okay, at least the government is coming into the. Now, what next we talk about is about economic policies. Then they can come and say, okay, we want these policies to be like this, and that can only be true on the table. We can bring it on the table. We can't be on the street to achieve all of these things. Do you understand? Until we come to, okay, we write to the president or we write to the Senate. So group wish to have a meeting with either the FCT minister or not the FCT minister, to have a meeting with the National Assembly. Do you understand? In that regard, when the National Assembly says we can't have meeting with this kind of miscreant, then we cannot say, oh, they're undermining the strength of Nigerians. That is when we can say, okay, if we don't have this, we can go to the street. Do you understand? Probably if they have put this in writing and say, okay, want to see the Senate President, want to see the National Assembly, not an individual, the National Assembly. The leadership. If this is now what we want, Nigerians are going to hear them on televisions. Nigerians are going to listen to their demands, and then it's going to be on record that so group, the National Assembly, they made these demands. How far? So it is now neglecting them that is not going to lead to street protest. So the situation on ground does not even warrant the issue of protest. Talk more of street protest. So if we are saying go for protest will be when a refuser to acknowledge your demands that leads to protest. Refuser of acknowledging your wants that leads to protest. So I will ask a question. How have they been able to, have they utilized the opportunities? Have they exhausted all the channels that they need to use for the purpose of mediation? None. No. Somebody will be somewhere outside this country and he will be telling you what we need to do. His children, his wives are outside the country. Do we call that protest? We don't call that protest. It's inciting. Okay. It's inciting. So if we don't understand this concept, we will be blaming the government. Yes, the government, the mere fact that the government have acknowledged that there's hunger and there's a lot of economic downturn, then we need to accept the fact that government to an extent is sincere. It is only when government is not sincere to the cause, then you can say there's a problem. So we need to even begin to sympathize with the government, having accepted the fact that, look, we acknowledge this, and so what else do we do? So the people should be addressing the government.
Yeah, in fact, there was this press conference yesterday where government was addressing, these are the steps that government has taken so far, to address some of these issues.
I think we even need to get it right. We have civil society organizations being on the different platforms and most times go on the street for street protest.
Yeah.
Reason for this street protest, it's because government in a way have refused to give them listening ears. I think the organizers, even though we don't see face with our faceless, I think we should even they should be thankful that government have accorded them respect. They have achieved their aim in a way, and so they should not create fear, because once there's fear, there's uncertainty, then what we're going to have is more insecurity. Some people are going to use this opportunity today because of fear already.
Well,
to go around
who
to
knows?
see.
Who knows? The organizers may just look at the scenario and say, well, government has come some way, even without saying so, and say, at least you were able to come. I'm not sure you saw any disruptions.
No, actually,
on your way, apart from security,
of course,
doing
of course,
their
yes,
work.
that's
All right, let's get back to Professor Ochogu. Let's get back to Professor Ochogu, who has joined us